So yesterday I read this headline and it sent me on an emotional roller coaster because I was like, oh shit. Then I was like, oh shit. Okay. Jesus. So the DOJ opens an investigation. They are opening an investigation into former CBP chief Greg Bovino, Gregory Bovino, the guy who was infamously on the ground, most notably in Minnesota, but he was in every major operation and ICE surge across the country. And he's the one that was dressing up as a Nazi and just saying Nazi things and just acting very Nazi-like. And he kind of leaned into it, and it was very obvious. Anyways, so they're opening an investigation into him, but what it's for, it's not for any of the crimes or atrocities that he was a part of. It's because apparently he allegedly made some comments about a Jewish lawyer. Okay. I need to go on a little rant here. We're going to read that article here in a moment. And we're also going to read another lawsuit into Gregory Bovino launched by Minnesota, which could yield something actually interesting. And it actually is a substantive lawsuit for some of the atrocities that he committed while in Minnesota. So get into this rant real quick, man. Like, this administration is just like speed running anti-Semitism and like speed running to push as many people to be like genuinely anti-Semitic as possible. Like, there are a million things you can investigate Greg Bovino on, and this is not one of them. And this leads to a broader picture that the Trump administration and like a broader kind of playbook they've been playing by. And it's like, how do you expect people to react when you finally open an investigation into Greg Bovino and it's about comments he said about a Jewish lawyer? We'll get into those comments here in a moment. But like, every day you see that more and more evidence of the genocide that Israel is committing and the atrocities that we are committing on behalf of Israel. And every single day you see people deemed as anti-Semitic when they criticize it. And in the same breath, they're also saying like, yeah, Israel speaks for all Jews, and to criticize Israel, you are being anti-Semitic. It's like, you're being anti-Semitic. Like, what are we talking about? Like, how do you think a normal person perceives all of this? Like, all right, the normal person is going to be like, all right, I guess I fucking hate Jews then. And that is not good. That is not what we want. But it is what this administration and what Israel and Bibi Netanyahu and all those Zionists are pushing people to. Another comparison I want to draw here is that you're seeing the Trump admin use civil rights era laws to go after various institutions, to go based on anti-Semitism, aka people who criticize Israel, not even like actual anti-Semites. Like, all the while there's still evidence in your face of systemic and institutionalized racism, and definitely Islamophobia and even homophobia to a certain degree. And you see civil rights laws only being applied to protect Jewish people. I say Jewish people because it's normally like Israeli Zionists who, you know, they may be Jewish, they may be not. I think there's more like Christian Zionists than Jewish Zionists. But you see all these civil rights era laws being used to go after that. And of course, they'll sprinkle in some like the Nike instance. There's like a lawsuit for them like doing reverse discrimination against white people or some shit. But it's like, how do you think people will perceive this, and what conclusions do you think they will draw when time and time again, like figures or organizations like the ADL, instead of going after actual anti-Semitic figures like, I don't know, Nick Fuentes or Candace Owens or a whole litany of figures on the right, they'll go just after people who criticize Israel. It's mind-boggling to me. But anyways, the DOJ finally opens an investigation into Greg Bovino. Let's go ahead and get into that. I may have DHS launches whatever, two of the same coin at this point. Anyways, DHS launches investigation into Greg Bovino, alleged remarks about Jewish lawyer. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has opened an internal investigation into allegations that Gregory Bovino, a senior Border Patrol official, made disparaging remarks about the Jewish faith of Minnesota's top federal prosecutor, the New York Times reported. Bovino, who became the public face of the heavily scrutinized immigration crackdown in Minnesota that left 2 U.S. citizens dead at the hands of federal agents, allegedly mocked federal prosecutor Daniel Rosen during a January phone call with state prosecutors. According to the Times, Bovino allegedly made sarcastic comments about Rosen's observance of Shabbat, the weekly period of rest from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset, and used the phrase chosen people in a derisive tone during the 12th of January call. The call came after Bovino requested a meeting with Rosen to push the Minnesota U.S. Attorney's Office into a stronger response towards criminalizing people whom Bovino believed were impeding federal agents from enforcing the Trump administration's immigration crackdown in the state, the Times reported on Saturday. On Tuesday, the Times reported that John Breckenridge, a special investigator with Customs and Border Protection, had launched an official inquiry into the allegation that Bovino made unprofessional comments. Breckenridge corrected the Times, seeking assistance with the inquiry, but did not say whether the other aspects of Bovino's conduct were under review. So no, all the endless cruelty and just like the bullshit he was actually doing on the ground, him and his Gestapo thugs. No, we're not going to look into that. But if you make a comment about a Jewish a prosecutor or whatever, yeah, we're actually going to investigate you and throw you under the bus, even though you have been like one of the most loyal servants. Following a letter from a congressman inquiring about reporting an anonymous allegation, CBP opened an internal inquiry to determine the full story, a DHS spokesperson said in a statement to The Guardian. This is standard procedure and does not indicate any confirmation of wrongdoing. Bovino was ultimately removed as head of Operation Metro Surge after federal immigration agents fatally shot Renee Good and Alex Pretti within 2 weeks of each other. In the aftermath, Donald Trump dispatched his border czar, Tom Homan, to take control of the operation. And let's see, separately, a Minnesota prosecutor announced Monday that her office was pursuing a criminal investigation that could result in charges against federal officers, including Bovino. I'm going to stop reading there because we have a separate article to get into that. But isn't it just interesting what DHS actually chooses to investigate? We covered a story not too long ago that they were investigating another CBP agent, like a senior agent, for he was like harboring someone who was undocumented. It was a weird story. It was like his girlfriend, or it was something weird. But it's like we are seeing these agents every single day. Not like they've killed American citizens. They've shot at people. They've played demolition derby in the streets with people and their kids in their cars. It's pepper spraying innocent people, tear gassing innocent people, just unprovoked, going after peaceful protesters, detaining and disappearing people, and no investigations. But like the 2 investigations that we have seen launched are just like it really gives the game away even more. If you've been following this closely like I have, it's like Jesus Christ, it makes your head want to implode. Like I am losing my mind over here. Now quickly, I want to jump over to this other article that the previous article had touched on. This is more promising, but I will warn you, trigger warning, to those of you who are easily triggered like myself. There's a lot of gaslighting here, so let's get into it. This is from PBS. Minnesota launches probe that could bring charges against federal immigration officers. A Minnesota prosecutor announced an investigation Monday that may lead to charges against federal officers, including Border Patrol official Greg Bovino, for misconduct during an immigration enforcement crackdown. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty said in a news conference that her office is already looking into 17 cases, including one where Bovino threw a smoke canister at protesters on January 21st. Pretty sure that was on video, unless that was another instance. Another on January 7th involved federal officers making an arrest outside of a high school and deploying chemical irritants while students and staff were in the area. The Department of Homeland Security, which oversees immigration enforcement, responded to a statement Monday night that such enforcement is a federal responsibility and states cannot prosecute federal officers. This is coming from the administration and you know, the party that is all about states' rights and small government, which is always a lie. Everything that they say they are for, when I tell you it is a lie, it is a lie. Because the second that Republicans can utilize the federal apparatus to crack down on states' rights for things that they do not like, they are going to do it more than any Democrat could ever dream of. All right? Like, when a Republican's like, oh, small government, they're like talking about in response to like robust social safety net programs, like, I don't know, improving our health care, or raising the minimum wage, or guaranteeing a free higher public education for people. That's when you get to, it's like, oh, just leave it up to the states, just leave it up to the states. Like, oh, let's legalize marijuana. Oh, let's leave it up to the states. Let's leave it up to the states. And then when it comes to issues that just like objectively harm people, it's like, fuck the states. You can't protect your people. We're the federal government. What right do you have? It's so ridiculous, man. What these states are trying to do is unlawful, and they know it. The statement said federal officials acting in course of their duties are immune from liability under state law. That is not true. That's not true. This is such dangerous rhetoric. And it's like when after Renee Good was murdered, it was either Renee Good or Alex Pretti. Fucking doughboy JD Vance comes out and says, like, yeah, actually all federal agents have complete immunity. It's like, you are encouraging this. How do you think these other fucking Gestapo pigs are going to react when they see the vice president defending the murder of a U.S. citizen? And in either case, whether it was Renee Good or Alex Pretti, neither of which came even close to deserving that kind of force. All right. Neither of them even like met the standard of like, hey, we should detain them. Like, it's such nonsense, man. The statement added that local officials should instead consider how their actions have endangered federal law enforcement officers, a message to Bovino seeking his response was not immediately returned. So it's amazing how this administration just gaslights and gaslights and gaslights. I'm not sure who these statements came from, who these statements came from. If I were to guess, it's the bitch who replaced Trisha McLaughlin. I don't remember her name, and I really don't care to right now, but these people are just evil. What do you want me to say? Like, just evil, cruel, liars, grifters. They don't stand for like anything. They will say whatever they want to get what they want. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.